everything? Almost everything on here is accurate. That's all.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד
Welcome. I'm Rabbi Molly, and this is Rabbi Dusty class, where we are so Delighted to have with us, if you don't know, Rabbi Dusty. Rabbi Dusty grew up here at TBT, along with a few other people. And we're very happy to have you here tonight and tomorrow, assuming that you haven't
Make
gone
it from
into labor
tonight into tomorrow.
between tonight and tomorrow.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it.
And we're also very happy to have Emmett with us, who is leading with us tonight, and also tomorrow morning. Thank you for being with us, Emmett. Christina, if you want to grab the drum and come on up here, you're welcome to grab your drum. Yeah, so. All right, before we jump into our prayers for this evening, I want to just offer a poem. This has been a hard week for us, for the world, for everybody. Our congregation, like many, many other congregations across the country, received a security threat last Shabbat, and I think that just really, we know that things feel unsettled, but that threw in an extra layer of feeling unsettled. And I know many of you were able to attend our meeting online earlier this week to just sort of process some of those feelings. But it seems like each day there's something in the news, either locally or directly in Gaza, that makes it just more and more complicated to figure out where we stand, or even if we can stand, wherever that is. I'm not going to give a whole sermon on this, I promise. But one of the things in the last, I would say, week or two that really has come to light for me is that I think we're used to dealing with sort of a right-wing anti-Semitism, or for worse. I was going to say better or for worse, but definitely for worse. We are used to that, but we're confronting a different type of leftist, liberal anti-Semitism that is not as overt and is hard and really forces us to confront a lot of our values. And there's a really great interview with Rabbi Sharon Brous, who's a rabbi in LA at Ikar. She did an interview with Ezra Klein not too long ago that I would encourage you to go listen to. But it's one of the things she talks about, and Rabbi Brous gave a Yom Kippur sermon about warning about the extremism of right-wing politicians in Israel, and then and has been speaking about Israel, and so in this interview, one of the things she talked about was just the hurt and pain of feeling like, if you are a liberal minded person, that you feeling like you were part of a certain group of society that all had shared values, and now feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not as much part of that group as I thought I was. So there's more to say, but this poem stuck with me today. This is by John O'Donohue from his book To Bless the Space Between Us, and it's called After a Destructive Encounter. Now that you have entered with an open heart into a complex and fragile situation, hoping with patience and respect to tread softly over sore ground in order that somewhere beneath the raw estrangement, some fresh spring of healing might be coaxed to release the grace for a new journey beyond repetition and judgment, and have achieved nothing of that, but emerged helpless and with added hurt. Withdraw for a while into your own tranquility. Loosen from your heart the new fester. Free yourself of the wounded gaze that is not yet able to see you. Recognize your responsibility for the past. Don't allow your sense of yourself to wilt. Draw deep from your own dignity. Temper your expectation to the other's limits, and take your time carefully, learning that there is a time for everything, and for healing too, but that now is not that time yet. So as we go into Shabbat and light our Shabbat candles, whatever kind of pain or grief you're holding this week, just allow it to be, and maybe this 25 hours of rest can bring a little bit of a sense of fullness and possibility of healing. Our blessing for lighting the candles is on page 2. And invite your parent. Okay. Tim, Karen, and Jeff. Yeah. Would you like to come up to light our candles? Thank you. Don't worry, we'll do the blessing.
I mostly am known around here as Tim's daughter, for anyone who doesn't
Sorry,
know that
didn't make
connection. So, anyone who knows that one, I'm connected to him. Anything?
No, I don't know. I need to light the first one. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehalikner shel Shabbat. Thank you, and if you'll hold on to that Kiddush cup, we'll join together in a blessing over the wine. It's actually grape juice on page 5. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. All right. May you all have sweetness on the Shabbat. See, Jeff, you don't know this yet, but one of the staples of TBT is that we just randomly call people to come up and participate. So sorry. If you have a simcha, something that you are celebrating on this Shabbat, we'd like to invite you to share nice and loud with the congregation. And if you're online, you can share in the chat. Anyone have a simcha, a joyous event, birthday milestone, accomplishment? Oh, careful. Carol. Yeah, Karen and Fall.
Brian and I have our 19th anniversary coming up on Tuesday.
Ooh, Mazel Tov. Carol and Brian have their 19th anniversary.
High +1.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Ellen.
I just had my 75th birthday.
Happy
birthday. Happy
75th.
birthday.
Mazel Tov. Happy birthday. You
Good
can come back
milestones,
in
good moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come back in a few weeks.
So-
All right. Yep, go ahead.
We'll continue on page 13 with words from Psalm 96. And I'll invite you during these two next prayers to take a moment and, the candles arrive us into Shabbat, but I don't think the lights themselves do that all by themselves. It takes a little while sometimes for us to go from whatever it is that we came from into Shabbat. So take a breath in, let it out, and let these next two prayers lead you into this palace in time that we're moving into. Page 20, we continue with the words of Lecha Dodi. I imagine we will be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Does that sound correct? Does that sound about right? All right, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes,
call to prayer on page 28. Baruch Hu. Into evening time, Ma'ariv Aravim. Takes a while to arrive into evening time sometimes. Need a couple extra minutes to get to evening time.
Not
Here
right
and
now.
Not today. Not today usually, but in this moment, perhaps.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim be'okma, poteach sharim, uvifunam mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotechem.
On page 32, 33, actually. Let's all join together in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holier of your words and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinamtam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'p'umecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 38, 39, close to 38, but one more. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40. On the next page, 42, we offer a prayer that the rabbis initially gave us for themselves, really, because nighttime before electricity was a very scary place, and it's when bad things happened. And also, there's this concept in Judaism that sleep has a little bit of death in it. That when you lie down for a whole night and wake up and hopefully wake up the next morning, you've experienced some tiny amount of what happens after we are no longer alive anymore. And that can be really terrifying to think about before going to bed. And so this prayer essentially says, we know this is an important thing to do. Also, it's really scary. So can you just pay special attention while I'm not paying attention to myself so that I know somebody is paying attention to me while I'm asleep? And now we have all sorts of things that help us feel safe in the middle of the night. And yet still, I think the darkness, particularly the darkest darkness, today is the darkest day of the year, it turns out, in this particular part of the world at least, not in Australia. And I talk frequently to a rabbi who lives in New Zealand who reminds me that everything that I like to say about how Judaism works is not true if you live on the other side of the world. So a reminder that while we are living in the darkest day of our year, it is also a whole different world in New Zealand. But here we are in the darkest day of our year. And even with all the things that help keep us safe, I think it can feel a little scary when everything disappears around us so early in the day, and there's so little time during the day where we can see. And so we offer a prayer together to protect ourselves, to help others protect us, and to ask God, the divine, something greater than ourselves, to pay a little extra attention. On page 44, we find the words of Vishamru. If 25 short minutes ago you didn't know really in your body whether it was Shabbat yet, now is the moment to arrive into Shabbat. This is the piece of Torah that reminds us that every week we take these 25 hours to guard, to protect Shabbat. And in doing so, we too are kept and held and get a space to rest and take deep breaths.
Israel
We're going to transition now into the Amidah, our standing prayer, which begins on page 46. We are going to begin together. If you're able, please rise, and then we'll move into some opportunities for your own silent and personal prayer.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu via ki tegilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hashtei Avot V'Imahot, Levi Gdula Lifnei V'Neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Uzer Moshiach U'Maged, Baruch atah Adonai, Maged Avraham V'Ezras Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mashi HaRuach U'Mori HaGashem, V'Chakel Chaim V'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Holim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato V'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gedurot, U'Midol Melech, Melech Me'mit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, Ne'eman atah le'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'ol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alu chasala, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh.
Now, page 16, a prayer for
Shalom Rav.
Boy, do we need this prayer.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim. Ki atahu melech Adon, Leho Hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, Leho Hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל דין ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim.
We're going to take some time now for silent prayer, either using the words that are in our Siddur if you want to explore One of my B Mitzvah students the other day was complaining, like, it's so annoying that the prayers are only on the right-hand side of the page, like, this book could be half the size. I'm like, yeah, except there's all this cool stuff on the left side of the page that's there for a reason. So if you want to explore some of those prayers, you can use this time to do that, or just pray whatever's in your own heart, and then we'll join back together on page 62 in a few moments. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and our redeemer.
Yehi lemaso, imrefi, veyom libi, lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, vekoali, vekoali.
On Shabbat, the one thing that we ask for is the gift of healing and wholeness to those who are suffering. We turn our attention now to our prayer for healing, Mishaberach, in the middle of page 253. We know that there are so many people suffering in our world right now. And on this Shabbat, within our own smaller community, we're especially praying for the healing of Azrael Early, Rohan Early, Amy Thornton, Stacy Hetzel, Diane Turner, Jacqueline Tara Smith, Deborah Rose, Eileen Kreisman, Ronnie Haber, Vadim Barzam, Jill Ferleo, Ellen Gottlieb, Vanessa Bianco, Paul McCready, Janelle Cohen, Glenn Less, Jesse Early, Andrea Gorovich, Carl Wilhite, Ginny Gaston, Cindy Balin, Joe Dover, Patty Newby, Adrian Hellender, Barbara Laird, Marion Laird, Michelle Arrigo, Frank Allen Coombs, Joni Michaels, Randy Hyde, Martin Kornblue, Joe Giordano, Neil Fenichel, and Margaret Nichols. There are other loved ones that you're thinking of on this Shabbat that are in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit. I invite you to share the name with the congregation. If you're on the live stream, please share in the chat. Join together in our prayer for healing, Mishberach.
The ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, for renewal of body, renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Before you put your books away for a minute, or keep them out, because perhaps you don't want to listen to me talk, in which case you can go through other prayers while I'm talking. But before, those of you who want to put your books away for a moment, do. On page 63, in our silent prayer moment, I was reading one of these prayers, and the first two paragraphs in the middle of page 63 just seemed extra important today. Maybe because I've been thinking about time and standing still and moving quickly, and because I woke up listening to the rain today, and having moved relatively recently from California to here, it's still a lovely thing to get to wake up to the rain for me. And then the sun came out, and so there was also sunlight. There's a lot of things in these two paragraphs that just spoke to me in that moment, which I always find really wonderful, because this is a prayer book that I spend a lot of time in, and so whenever I find something here that feels new all over again, I like to tell other people about it. So let's offer these words, just the first two paragraphs in the middle of 63, and then I'll say words that I plan to say on purpose. Okay, so we reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. Thank you for indulging me. So I've always loved the idea of growing my own sustenance, tomatoes and potatoes and green beans, but my feeble attempts have thus far failed. Apparently tomatoes can rot from the inside out, and deer really enjoy the same fruits and vegetables that people do. So I've never really attempted even an indoor plant, which makes it all the more miraculous to share with you all that at this moment, 3 plants sit at the center of our kitchen table. 2 were gifted to my husband and me as new house presents, but it's the third, an amaryllis purchased from Trader Joe's, that I want to talk about tonight. The amaryllis belongs to our third roommate, my husband's 92-year-old grandmother, Helen. The plant came with everything it needed, other than, quote, a little bit of light and a relatively stable temperature to grow and bloom with 0 additional care. It's the only plant that I can put somewhere and know it will thrive. And over the past 3 weeks, one day at a time, it has indeed grown. First, it crept up and up, millimeter by millimeter, each day just a little more, imperceptible if you weren't paying close attention. Luckily, we have all been paying very close attention. Helen has a couple of significant health issues that make it tricky for her to get out into the wider world, so her universe mostly consists of what happens in one of 3 rooms in our house: her room, the kitchen, and the dining room. And when you live in a world zoomed in that small, each change becomes far more significant, especially for those who actively choose to note those changes. And so every time we sit down for a meal, Helen picks up the amaryllis, gives it a once-over, and can tell you the exact millimeter of change that has occurred. And she's never wrong. It has always grown just a little bit. So this past Sunday, the very first sliver of red began to pop through the green bud at the top of the plant, and slowly, hour by hour by hour, it has begun to bloom. When I woke up this morning, one flower was almost all unfurled, and even though we had only been tracking this one flower bud, shockingly, we discovered today a second unexpected bloom that has begun to join the first. In her book, Saving Time, Discovering Life Beyond the Clock, author Jenny Odell challenges our modern societal concepts and understandings of time. Time is a commodity. Time is perpetually fleeting. Time is leisurely for some and stressful for others. And she introduces alternative ways of thinking about how we might mark time. She teaches us about time in other cultures and communities and nature, those who mark time by season and whose seasons do not follow the prescribed dates of December 21st, March 21st, June 21st on a calendar, but instead mark time by first rainfall or first blossom. As one way to pull oneself out of a time as money mindset, Odell suggests that people find what she calls a patch. She calls this a point in space, a branch, a yard, a sidewalk square, something you can simply keep watch of. A patch can be big, but more often it's small. It doesn't have to be an outdoor space or connected to nature in any way. Your desk might be a patch, and using it as a patch might simply mean noticing how the papers move around on the desk, or don't. It might be a webcam you tune into daily that tracks the growth or decay or otherwise shifting and changing nature of something science-y. In a world where almost everything looks and feels the same, where time can feel like it stands still, Helen's amaryllis reminds her that today is different from yesterday, and tomorrow will be still different than today. That even if nothing else moves an iota, this little flower sitting on the kitchen table will have transformed again. In our Torah portion this week in Vayigash, decades of bitter sibling rivalries and relations between Joseph and his brothers come to a climax. Joseph, who is still unrecognizable to his brothers as a powerful Egyptian leader, breaks down in tears when his older brother Judah offers himself as tribute in place of their youngest brother Benjamin. Judah's display of protection and care for his brother serves as proof of Judah's change from the brother who sold his sibling into slavery into one willing to put his life on the line in order to protect a sibling. And Joseph, too, has changed. As a result of Judah's willingness to stand in for his brother, Joseph finally reveals his identity to his brothers. And unlike his previous interactions with them, He is gracious rather than pompous, generous rather than entitled. Ecclesiastes teaches us, Ein kol chadash tachat hashemesh. There is nothing new under the sun. Or as that saying seems to go, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Particularly during this time of the year, when the trees are bare and the sun comes up and goes down almost before there's time to acknowledge its presence, we have darkness again and again. And particularly in this moment in Jewish history, as we navigate rising anti-Semitism from multiple sides, and the pain and fear and anger and sadness that come with a devastating war in Israel, it can feel like we're hearing and telling and living through the same story again. Ein kol chadash tachat hashemesh. And yet, every single morning, that little flower is a little bit different. Right now, it's growing and blossoming. And at some point, those blossoms will reach fullness. And then the change will be in how those blossoms close in on themselves. And then there will be blossoming again. Joseph and Judah and his brothers are not consistently the same kind of different. Sometimes their actions look very similar to the actions they might have taken earlier in their relationship, when they were not kind to each other, when they didn't know what they know now. Sometimes they're able to draw on all of the years that they have lived and all of the growth that they have had. So too with all of us. Sometimes we're able to draw on all of the things we've learned throughout our lives and be the transformed, blossomed version of ourselves. And sometimes less so. Eventually, the amaryllis will have completed its cycle of bloom and will look very much like it did when we first got it. A long, skinny green stalk. Kind of boring. But neither the flower, nor Joseph, nor Judah, nor you or me or anyone who lives in this world stays the same. As Amichai notes in his poetry, Ecclesiastes can sometimes be wrong. In Seattle, the big dark is still just kind of beginning. In Israel, we cannot know what each next day will bring or how swiftly an end to the destruction and a safe return of hostages will come. But we can pay attention each day to the smallest of changes. We can each find our own patch, our own amaryllis, our own tiny corner of the world through which to mark time. And in tending to our patches, if we look closely enough, we just might find small surprises, extra blossoms we might never have expected that help us move through the darkness. Shabbat shalom.
We're going to continue now with the Aleinu, which is on page 283. You can get your Siddur, your prayer book, back out, since I know you all were
Praying silently to yourselves for the last
attentively.
12 minutes.
No. We'll be at the top of page 283. If you're able, please rise. We'll join together.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת קדימה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר, והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום
may be seated. We are on page 294. We think now of our loved ones whom death has taken recently from us, those who died at this time in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. If you are saying Kaddish for somebody tonight, I want to invite you to share the name of the person you're remembering, and if you want to share a sentence or two either about that person or something you loved about that person. It's not required. If you're online, again, please share in the chat. So I'll just start by opening up if anyone wants to share the name of a loved one you're remembering this Shabbat. Yeah.
Remembering James Levine, that was 13 years ago.
Wow. This Shabbat, we are also remembering, in addition to Myron Bromberg, we are also observing the Shloshim period, the 30-day period, mourning the recent loss of Victor C. Amira, the uncle of Cynthia Hempel, and Rabbi David Ellenson, as well as Lindsay Robinson, the friend of Arnie Goldstein. And on the Shabbat, we also observe the yard sites of loved ones, remembering Alice Pearl, Anna Brunk, Norman Cohen, Sarah Crane, Elise Dishy, Rainan Ganuni, Dorothy Hinckley, Frederick Fritz Kahn, Judy Kenny, Louis Klisser, Robert Kruger, Louis Letts, Jamie London, Gertrude Morris, Abram Neymark, Philip Oringer, Kay Cuneo Oda, Herman Serlin, and Etty West. If you are able, I invite you to please rise in support of our mourners as we join together on page 294, the words of Mourners Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed kol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mavarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yinaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imamav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, the whole world. Say together, amen. You may be seated. We have many board members in the room, and I don't know if anyone actually signed up to give the board welcome, but I don't know, do you want to fight for it? Oh, are you signed up for it or you volunteered? Come on up, Christina. Oh, amazing. Please, Bavakasha, come on up. Since you wouldn't draw with us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Christina Chamberlain. I'm a board member. If I haven't met you, please say hi afterwards to me. First off, I want to say thank you, Rabbi Molly. Thank you, Emmett, for your beautiful music. And thank you, Rabbi Glass. Thank you for joining us. And more tomorrow, so come back, right? Excellent. All right, so we have a lot coming up. As hopefully you saw in your email, December 24th, it's Chinese food and movie night, and we're going to be watching Sing 2. which if you haven't seen it, it's fabulous. And if you have seen it, it's that good you want to watch it again. So I definitely recommend it. And that's going to be at 6 o'clock. And then on January 5th, we have Hava Morel here for Tat Shabbat. Is that also Shabbat Shabbat?
But she will be here for Shabbat, regular Shabbat. It's not, we're not doing Shabbat Shabbat. I can say more if you
Okay.
want. I'll explain.
It says Tat Shabbat in the email.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh,
And then also on January 21st, mark your calendar, it's the Makerspace that day from 10 to 3. So come on down. Anything else?
oh yeah. lots
Don't
of
read
things.
your email, apparently.
Do read your email, but you have to come to services to get the added commentary of all the other things. So I'm going to be going out of town for a few weeks. So next Friday, Michaela Goodkin will be here doing music along with Nikki is going to be leading the service with Michaela. So if you've missed Michaela, now's your chance. Next week's your chance. Cantor David, thank you, will be leading 2 Saturday morning services. And then on January 5th, Hava will be doing Tat Shabbat, and then she will also be doing the regular Shabbat service. So, and we'll have the potluck in between, so don't miss that. And then also should be in your email, but in January, Grace Elizabeth is going to be teaching a class, woohoo, after our service on the 27th. There's actually a lot happening in January. Please read your email. Thank you. And for tonight, most importantly, if you are able and willing, I want to invite you during the Oneg to stay, and we're going to be doing both tonight and tomorrow. There's an opportunity to write letters that go to families in Israel that are still, their loved ones are still being held hostage. I believe that there's also an opportunity to write letters to the IDF soldiers to express appreciation. I know some other congregations have done this, and it's been so appreciated. There's no limit to the ways we can make our voice heard, and just helping people in Israel feel seen, and witnessing their pain to the extent that we can from this side of the world. Rachel is going to be coordinating that. Do you want me to say anything else about that? Okay, great. Whew. Super. All right. We are going to end with something that is not in your Siddur. I apologize, but you'll pick up quickly if you don't know this song. I also was looking at that little section on page 60-something, 3. Everybody's got it now, 63. I was looking at 63 and appreciating that, and then I also flipped back to 61 and was noticing in the footnotes there some poignant rabbinic texts about peace. There are 3, but I'll just drop this one in here, bottom of page 61, if you want to look at all 3 of them. Great is peace, for even in a time of war, one should begin by attempting to arrange peace. So we're going to end with little Tom Paxton here with, we'll add some Hebrew to it. He didn't do the Hebrew, but we'll add the Hebrew. Peace will come. Let it begin with me. Let's try that again. Peace will. Peace will come. Let it begin with me. Oh, my Shalom Yavo, peace will come. Shalom Yavo, She'achiliti. If you want to just, yeah, She'achiliti. Okay. Shalom Yavo. She'achiliti. Shalom Yavo. She'achiliti. All my life is all I can have to control. All of my life, even for the good of us all, let it bring peace. Let us call out to peace. Sweet peace, peace will come. And begin with me. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to join together in Hamotzi, and then please join us at the Oneg. Toda Rabah. Thank you to Irene and Andy for helping with our live stream and our sound. Thank you, Emmett. Thank you, Rabbi Dasipas. All right, let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, v'te'avon. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.